Weird. Somebody sent this. Some madman out there sent this. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Hope everybody's doing great out there. It's an early morning session of the homeschooling program. I just took my sweet, sweet boys to their first day at summer camp. All you dads out there, I know you can remember that day. This amp is a little noisy. I'm gonna turn it off. Or turn it down. Hope everybody's doing great. You know, it's a Monday. Don't it feel like a Monday? I appreciate, sincerely, all the kind words in the last several videos I put up. All the donations, I appreciate it. You seem like you're having fun with the channel. You seem like you're learning a lot, and I appreciate that. And, you know, thanks for sticking with me. It's been 3 years now. 20 million views of this ridiculous program. Just goes to show you how crazy people are, how starved for entertainment they are. I've got a video pulled up here, number 224. Well, first of all, we should probably talk about this crazy guitar. You've seen it before. Do you remember these? You remember these Epiphone amps? Here, I'll show you. You remember these? Remember these? Remember those? Man, I love that sound. That reminds me of the garage days when you smash the reverb tank on an old amp. God, I love that. You know what else? You know another sound I love? This sound. I love that sound too. Hot swapping a guitar. I love that sound. Okay. Also too, I love it when you can hear on old records, you can hear people switching pickups. You can hear the pickup selector on old Beatles did that a lot. I love when you can hear pickup switches on records. And I also love, see, it doesn't take much to get me going. Just one memory, and it sparks this whole train of thought. This shirt has one of those decals on it that's real sticky, and everything you touch up against it moves. When I was a kid, I had a Van Halen shirt that was like this. And I wore it every day because I never took showers, and I basically wore the same shirt every day when I was 12 years old. And it wore the paint off the back of that Les Paul because of the decal on that t-shirt. I know some of you guys can relate to that out there. I'm going to get into some guitar technique in a minute. You know what else I was going to say? You know what other sound I love on records is hiss, tape hiss. I don't really like noise, like ground buzz, because it's really my mortal enemy in the studio, and it actually bugs me when I hear it on other people's records too. But I do love the sound of tape hiss. Like, we've talked about this before, like on the old Police records, man. Andy Summers had so much analog effects going on the guitar. You can really hear the tape hiss, like at the beginning of Walking on the Moon and stuff. It's like, it becomes part of the sound of the record, you know what I mean? I love tape hiss. I love the hiss from old effects, you know? I find it to be very musical. First of all, let me show you a real quick thing. Okay, I know you guys, a lot of you guys are obsessed with Magic Sam and all that stuff. He was great. You know what he's doing, and this is an old technique that a lot of people don't know shit about. I'm gonna show you something. Okay, you get a raunchy guitar, turn up a really raunchy little amp, and you got a natural sound that happens. It's just unmistakable. This thing is like so percussive because the amp is so turned up. This pickup is nasty, boy. These are a lot of people think these are jazz boxes, these old National New Yorkers, but this thing is raunchy like any lap steel. And the tone control actually works backwards. You have to turn it down to 0 to make it work. But you get a real percussive sound like that, right? On the verge of feedback. I love those kinds of, you know, unrelated, but kind of related. We were listening to some Chuck Berry in the car the other day, me and the boys. Man, like on Maybelline and stuff, like talk about a raunchy guitar sound. I mean, even Marshall, 10-year-old Marshall was like, God, Dad, that guitar sounds horrible. It is so nasty. It's like, it's so dark and woolly and distorted in a sort of a painful way, man. I mean, I love Chuck Berry and I love those records and everything, but that tone, that's almost too raunchy for me, man. And I love raunchy guitars. I think when raunchy guitars don't have any high end at all, it's pretty creepy, you know. And Chuck Berry was pretty creepy. Okay, so dig this. This is a cool effect. Okay, check this out. I'm gonna turn the camera so you can see what I'm doing. This is a really cool rhythmic percussive thing that you can do on a guitar. Pretty hard to do, to get it right, to get it to really groove and bubble just right. But you go downstroke, you play a low fifth, right? Downstroke it with the pick, and then upstroke it with your middle and your ring finger right afterwards. Okay? good lick. So there you go. That's the Magic Sam thing. It works on any string. I mean, you could do it up here. The hardest thing is to not stick your tongue out when you're doing it. But it's a great effect, and it's when it's done right. There's nothing like it. You can't do it with a flat pick. You have to use your fingers and a pick together to make it sound like that. And you know, it's a close cousin of the sort of James Burton-y sort of style of telly playing. You know, that kind of thing. You know, that sort of thing. So, but I like it when it's a little raunchier and more bluesy like that. You know what I mean? Shall we get into some VCB? Let's see. I'll put the corporate eye back on so I can see what I'm looking at. One guy said, I love it when the Firebird comes out. Yeah, man, me too. Another guy said, Steely Dan guitar work is solid, but the vocals are blah, in my opinion. Enjoy, though. Well, Donald Fagen never professed to be a great singer. I mean, that's why on their first album in 1972, they had a lead singer, David Palmer, who sang a couple of the songs, including Dirty Work, which was one of their more well-known songs. But I think Donald was a little unsure of his voice in the early days. You know, he's no, you know, Ray Charles, but he has a thing. And, you know, if you believe it, then it's good. It's like anybody that's got a, you know, not a great instrument vocally, but they've got something that you can believe in their singing that draws you in, then so be it. But, you know, they would use great backing vocalists on their records, Michael McDonald and all the, you know, all the great singers of the day to help reinforce some of their choruses. But, you know, I personally love Donald's snide, nasal vocal approach. I think he's great. But I can see how people don't dig it. I can totally dig that. But man, he had something to say, and I'm all in on that shit. You know, I'm gonna quit talking about Steely Dan now because you guys all know I love him. I don't want to get this too repetitive. One guy said, dude, my dear friend Night Bob was Walter Becker's guitar pimp. Yeah, Night Bob is the most famous roadie of all time. He's the Jimi Hendrix of roadies. Becker lived the dream. In every town he played, all the regional boutique builders, guitars, amps, and pedals would line up with their latest wares. It was very cool. I got a bunch of pedals from the estate sale. That's cool and everything, but see, that would be like, I told the guy, instead of a dream, that would be a nightmare for me. Having to try out pedals all day, every day. I'd rather go get a colonoscopy. I love pedals as a working man's tool, but I am not into sitting around trying pedals out all day. Not my idea of a good time. But I'm sure Walter Becker had fun with it. Let's see. A lot of people say, keep up the good work. I appreciate that. Am I doing good work here, people? I appreciate that. Let's see here. Let me get in this. I know there's a couple good ones on here. A lot of good comments on the guitar comparison video where I showed the different humbuckers that were available in the golden age of Kalamazoo. You know, they all do have a different sound. One guy was saying he didn't like the way the double neck looked, and I couldn't disagree more. I mean, I don't expect everyone to like want to go take a double neck to a gig and play it, but you can't say it doesn't look cool. I mean, I told the guy in a response, I said, man, when you see that thing in person, if I just lay that thing out on the table and open the case, people just stand around in total awe looking at it. It is one of the most mesmerizing things. It's so unusual and so bizarre, and everything on it is custom made. Every part on that guitar is custom made. It's really cool to look at. Whether it's your thing or not, you know, it's a pretty cool looking instrument. You got to give it that. I've always been a big double neck fan, man. I've owned several in my life. I've always just thought they were the coolest. There is a very powerful feeling when you hold a double neck in your hands. It's like so much resonance happening. You know, you can feel that 12-string neck when you're playing the 6-string neck, this big, giant, shaking contraption. And I've always been totally mystified by it. I love double necks. Always have. That's actually the second 50s hollow body double neck I've owned. I had a 59 EDS 1275 years ago. And I've owned a lot of solid body double necks too. And I love them, man. They're fantastic. Let's see here. A lot of people were mad at themselves for getting everyone wrong in that blind test where I put the OJ card up. Man, that shit is hard. Don't take that personal. I mean, we all listen with our eyes, man. I mean, I do it. Everybody does it. If you get it in your mind that you like a certain guitar and you're an SG fan or whatever, your ears will tell you that it sounds better than everything else, because the brain is so powerful in that way. I mean, it is very difficult to take your eyes out of the equation when you're listening to music or you're listening to sounds. If we were all blind, if there was never such a thing as sight, music would be so different than what it is. I feel like music has always been as equally visual as it is auditory. Since the dawn of time, people have listened with their eyes. You know, in the earliest rock and roll acts, you know, if the guy wasn't making all these crazy gyrations, the record wouldn't sound quite so good. You know what I mean? That's just human nature. That's why when a song is in a movie, a key point of a TV show or a movie, when there's a really great song plays along with that visual, the combination of those two things together is so powerful. Like when you're watching Afterlife, Ricky Gervais' show, and at the end he always plays some amazing song that you've forgotten about. The power that has with the visual of the great film and the audio, it's amazing. So don't feel bad about not getting those blindfolded tests right. That's really hard to do, especially for a guy like me who's literally half deaf. I've destroyed my hearing over years of playing through Marshalls and headphones. But I'm still here, kids. I'm still going. One guy said, the only problem with Don't Take Me Alive, the Steely Dan song, is his pronunciation of Oregon, which is like fingernails on a chalkboard for people up here on the upper left. How do you say it? Oregon? Is it supposed to be Oregon? Let's see. Oh, this Epiphone amp, by the way, is called a... this is an early 60s Epiphone Zephyr. And these are really rare amps. A single 12 version. It's got reverb but no tremolo, 2 channels. These were, you know, obviously made by Gibson, and they have a great sound. You know, these are really underrated amps. You know, they're very retro, very cool sounding, and you know, they're a good alternative. Like if you really want like a really vintage sounding amp, and you don't want to pay $1 million for an old Fender, look into these old Epiphones. And there's several different models. There's a Pacemaker, oh no, Pathfinder, I think it was. I can't remember. There's like 4 or 5 different models. And the Zephyr is one of the rarest ones, the single 12. And they're really not crazy expensive, and they're really good sounding. I highly recommend those if you want to get into the vintage guitar or vintage amp game without blowing all your money, you know. And this guitar is really special. These are 1940 National New Yorker, also called the Memphis Mini guitar, because she played one of these on all the classic stuff. It's got the non-original knobs. I put a different bridge on it, but everything else is original. The original guard and the crazy trapeze bridge. I had it refretted by the boys at Grooms, but these are so good. This is the second one of these I've had. There's some really old videos of me on YouTube playing one of these, the original one that I had before I sold it like a dumbass. Got flat wounds on here. And you would think this would be like a jazz box, but it's not. It's like super not polite guitar. Let's see, one more and then I'll sign off for today. Let's see what else we got. Maybe I shouldn't do one more. Maybe I should just sign off for today. Have a great day, kids. Beginning of the week, this could be your best week ever. So get out and do something. Bye-bye.